kill Rookie.
She's still there?
I
Yeah.
hope so.
Warren Buffett has made it clear that he's not leaving any money to his kids. He has a son who was kind of briefly famous for the reason that he had to get a second mortgage on his house because of an investment that went bad. And everybody was like, his dad is one of the richest people in the world. Why doesn't his dad help him? And his dad is like, that just because I'm rich doesn't mean that I have an obligation to help my son, out of that kind of crap.
Oh,
he
that's
said,
a douchebag. If I was
yeah, I mean, his reasoning was, I've taught him information about how to earn money that is more valuable than any amount of money that I could give him. And if he didn't apply it properly, that's hardly my fault. And frankly, I would rather keep investing my money in stuff that will make more money than give it to somebody to pay off debt.
But then what are you going to do with it?
He's going to donate it all to charity. He has a pledge to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to give all of his money away by the time he dies.
Oh man, that sucks. I'd be like, I mean, yeah, I would give them enough to be middle class. That's all I would do if I had children. If I was rich, and I want to.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing, or not even middle class, maybe rich because
maybe upper middle class at most. But like they wouldn't get it all at once. Like it would be a slow kind of like dribbling.
A paycheck.
What?
Kind of like a paycheck.
yeah, like an allowance. Like enough to live an okay life, but not enough to like you still got to work.
Hand them down a couple businesses that they could run. It's not. We're talking about super rich here. Like you could hand them a couple businesses.
Hell, I'll buy them an island.
Nah, see,
it's kind of interesting. There's a book that is by these two guys. I'm trying to remember what their names are right now. The book is called The Millionaire Next Door, and it's a study, a long-term study that was done by these two professors who study like economic sociology type stuff like this. And what they found out was rich people who support their kids financially like that, they call it economic outpatient care. It's just kind of a joke in their study. But they found that those people tend to have the most problems as far as being responsible with their spending and accomplishing anything really significant with their lives. They get dependent on this money coming in for nothing, and they don't really do anything with that. And then their kids are not able to follow through with the same the same types of accomplishments as their grandparents.
Wait till Paris Hilton has kids.
Right, exactly. When you do that kind of thing.
Wait for that to happen.
Right, her kids are going to. I mean, no, I'm not. I don't have any special knowledge about
your mother's
the future like that.
Or any of the Kardashians.
Well, let me give you a better example of someone who's like that. There's this person who is the wealthiest person in. Now, this person actually got their wealth after being given wealth, but it's what they say afterwards. So they're already the most wealthiest person in Australia, and it's a female. So if you look it up, that's how you can find them. But they say that people who make minimum wage should make slave wages, or she earns for the days when that. It was something like it seems depressing that you get that they have higher wages than lower wages, and stuff like that. Not being appreciative of the fact that work is not easy. Minimum wage stuff is never easy.
What show I like that actually that she should go through? What is that show? Undercover Boss.
Yeah.
Like they should do that. Like see, because like back when they did this shit, it was revolutionary. But nowadays it's like slave labor. Like if Steve Jobs was still alive, I would love to see him work at Foxconn. Like you guys know about that place, right?
No.
Remind me.
Foxconn is the place that has the suicides. A lot of suicides.
Right. Oh yes, absolutely.
It's like yeah. They had to put suicide nets up.
I saw a cartoon about this. It was Steve Jobs at the pearly gates, and he was complaining. He goes, "Look, I'm Buddhist. I don't understand why all these cartoonists draw me at the pearly gates like I'm some, Christian." He's like, "Can't you at least respect my beliefs and reincarnate me?" And so St. Peter goes, okay, sorry, and he reincarnates him. And then the next panel shows him in an iPod factory just welding, and he's like, God damn it.
Yeah, I think that sucked. It's like, well.
Yeah, that would be kind of ironic.
I mean, the thing is, he didn't give shit to charity, from what I've heard.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. But
as far as I know, he didn't give a shit to charity, but he didn't give shit to charity necessarily and claim it that he did.
Oh, well, he's a Buddhist, though. Isn't that their, their whole thing? He was the most un-Buddhist Buddhist out there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those California Buddhists, they're called. But, yeah.
That's right, because life is suffering.
Yeah.
So.
But isn't that like to get rid of your desires and shit? Or is that Jesus? I don't know.
No, that's Buddhism. Yeah, the Four Noble Truths, one of them is that life is suffering. It basically says that the way to get rid of suffering is to get rid of your ego. And then the Eightfold Path teaches you how to do that.
And he had a big ego.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah, I think anybody who
next
drives...
someone say, you're awesome.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not a fan of Apple. Just to put it out there.
No, regardless, sometimes I'd feel a lot better if there were more people that tried to walk the middle way.
Mm-hmm.
Like the squirrel.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm trying something that is trying to promote charities that allow clean water to go to places that don't have clean water.
Well, yeah, that's what I understand now. Like, Bill Gates could possibly, I would say, recreate a economy in Africa, in a sense.
Well, it's not simply a matter of that. There's actually a program that's been tested and has gotten really good results so far. That's essentially to convert desert land back into plains. And
you mean instead of desertification, we do plainification?
It's reclaiming desert land.
To reclaim the desert,
it's terrifying.
The water table.
Yeah, raising up the water table. Yeah, it's raising up the water table, and then you can start getting grasses that grow back in, and that would actually do a lot more than anything else, because a lot of the areas where they're the most impoverished is because, there's not much grass or trees or what have you, and all that they have is this crap ground that they can't even grow anything on. That's a huge problem.
And then when it rains, the water simply doesn't have a chance to soak into the ground. It simply just runs off, taking topsoil with it.
Isn't that the wind?
Yeah.
No, it winds up in rivers and actually winds up silting up rivers as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But if you get the water, if you dig ditches and dike the water up, the water then comes off the hills and collects, giving it a chance to still soak into the ground. Then you can work on reforesting hills and getting the grass planted back on them, and then that will stabilize the hill from erosion.
So pretty much if we made the Sahara not a desert anymore, we would...
Well, maybe it won't work in the Sahara because it's not the same kind of area, but there's places in Ethiopia that have suffered from that, and there was a documentary I watched on it where the people started a grassroots program to actually just start doing that themselves.
But the thing is,
And
if
they
you start
prospered quite
reclaiming
well.
more and more land by the edge of the desert, you, in time, might be able to reclaim the harsher desert lands as well.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay.
And the theory is, and this is interesting, the theory is that if we actually converted 90%, 80 to 90%, this is over time, mind you, of the Earth's desert to grassland, it would pretty much take care of the global warming carbon issue.
Well, yeah, because then we created a giant,
Carbon trap, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like the Garden of Eden.
No, it doesn't.
It's actually a TED Talk.
Sounds like it would cost money, and people don't like spending money.
Well, no, it doesn't seem like it costs money. It seems more like it costs labor. Like you need laborers.
Yeah, but labor is money, though. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they have a giant workforce.
Africans to do it.
Yeah, you
and
get
teach
Africans
them
to
how
do it.
Well, in the case of the documentary I worked, the people did it without pay because they realized the benefit it would have to them.
Or let's just
directly.
get Mexicans to do it.
But even then it took time because a
but
lot
why
of people
not pay though? Because
Right.
Remember,
Yeah,
the reason-
and not everybody can afford to work for free. I mean, working it's like unpaid internships in this country. I mean, you have to be privileged in the first place for that to work because you have to be able to feed yourself and your family.
How about we just pay them with food?
Why not we give them machinery to do it?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Talk about the Industrial Revolution in America. Maybe they could have
The
their own.
problem is though we're running out of oil, and those countries
No,
that have.
Australia has tons of oil. It has almost as much as Saudi Arabia.
What the hell does Australia have to do with Africa?
Australia just found $23 trillion worth of oil in reserve.
Yeah. So
That's more than what the Middle East, I think it's at least Saudi Arabia produces.
yeah.
So let's buy off the Aussies.
Bring industrial type revolution to Africa. More
They
jobs.
already did. They do have one. The problem is most of the stuff they have is from like the Cold War era. Their stuff is like from the Cold War era to even the late, if I remember correctly, the early 20th century, right? Their equipment is.
It depends on which. I mean, Africa it's a continent. It depends on which economy you're talking about.
Yeah, it does.
South
yeah,
Africa,
it does.
Egypt, and Morocco, and
They're modern.
They have stock markets.
But they're pretty well off compared to like the majority.
Well, you're talking about second versus third world in a lot of these areas.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, when you're talking about, for example, a country that's still a third world country, in order to build up that infrastructure, they need to build power plants and this kind of stuff. And it's not like we're just going to rush in there and make nuclear plants for them or something like this. So they're going to have to start off with the old nasty carbon producing stuff, your coal and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And right now we're trying to put limits on that kind of production across the board, which there's a fairly decent argument that that'll prevent the third world countries from being able to catch up without significant assistance.
It's a catch-22, basically
It really
saying,
is.
sorry, third world, you're not allowed to develop because anything we give you will pollute.
Yeah, and not just that, but there are other considerations too. Like a lot of American companies would be happy to invest there. The cost of doing stuff there is a lot cheaper. Labor is cheaper, and so on. But the infrastructure is just not there. I mean, there's no point in building a factory, using cheap labor in the middle of nowhere if you don't have roads and airports and stuff to get your products out. That's one thing. The other thing is that a lot of American companies, even though labor is cheaper there, don't want to go there because there are human rights issues involved. Like their investors will not invest with them if they pay less than a certain amount and so on. So it's just not worth it for them.
I mean that's the thing though. Like their countries are in disarray, like Somalia, like all those countries and stuff. Like
Right.
They have major issues, and it's not just economical. It's political. It's social.
In terms of the social issues, there's so much tribalism there that I think I can't remember who it was that gave me this example. I think I know.
They're hunting witches still there.
No, actually, no. What I'm talking about is the tribalism there. You have, for example, people from two different tribes working at a plant. You have to have them.
That was me, Heathen.
I thought it was you. Would you like to take over?
There was a man I worked with whose family did have a small factory there. I can't remember what country they were in. But basically, there was two tribal groups who were employed there. And one group found out or through a rumor, felt the other group was being treated better, like either got paid more or got more hours to work or got overtime, just however they were being treated better. They literally had to have two doors in the factory. Shift A comes through door A, shift B comes through door B, and they don't ever see each other. The man's family came to work one day and they found one of the shifts was completely dead. Everyone had their head cut off because shift B showed up and killed them.
That's not too different than what happened in America a while back. So it's just like they're
but that's all because you heard they were being